Hi guys, so this is going to be another video. I was looking at my previous videos and I'm very happy because, you know, I got up to 5 subscribers. I started about like 4 months ago. Um, I honestly didn't think I'd get any subscribers. So the fact that, people are actually valuing the information that I'm putting out, it's very little, but it makes me very happy. Um, I've been gone for a few months. It's been, around 2 months. And, I just wanted to say, I've just been really busy with school. I've been taking my Java class, and then on top of that Java class, I've been taking discrete math. My first semester, or, given the videos I've made in previous months, I was, I was working as an RBT, registered or a behavior technician for neurodivergent kids, and I was also in math for CS and taking Python, but Python I had previous practice with. Java I did not. Now Java, if I want to talk about it, because with this, it's very, let me just make sure my facts are right. It's like, okay, so it compiles a lot faster, right? But it's a lot slower to write Python. Obviously, you type it a lot faster. You can get things done a lot faster. But with Python, it runs a lot slower. Now, the big issue that I've had with Java, I actually am not a huge fan of Java, because it does not work with my brain. I just can't. Like, it's great if you work with a Python language and you use it for, say, like, you're writing a program with Python, then you use it as the blueprint, and then you move over to Java to replicate that information and to kind of copy that information and work slowly and make sure everything runs. But if you're just going in Java raw without any, even without like a mind map or something, it makes it 3 times more difficult than it should be. And that's something that I found to be true. But one of the main things I've learned with Java, that's really stood out to me, is its diversity. It's like it's a very, there are so many aspects to Java as opposed to Python, because when you're learning Python, you're kind of just thrown into it. And with Java, it's like, you're expected. I mean, this is the framework for my school. So we learn Python first in Java, but you're thrown into Java and you're expected to know all of these basic things, and then you build from those basic things. So, like, you're expected to understand what conditions are, which are selections in Java, and then you expand off of that, then move to classes. Java is primarily like OOP, so object oriented programming. Python, you you have a little bit more freedom, so you can move to OOP, or you could just go in. So with Python, you have a lot more control, but there's a lot more risk. It's kind of like the difference between Java and C++. I'd say that C++ is the version of Java that is similar to Python, if that makes sense, because Java and C++ are really similar. But yeah, one of the another big difference that I've come to an understanding with this, the inheritance. So, like, the different aspects of inheritance, and aggregation. So, like, aggregation specifically is something that I thought was important. Aggregation is like a has a relationship. So if you think about, like, I don't know, a professor in a department has a professor. So within the class department, you sort of declare the class professor inside of the department, and you initialize an object from class professor. And these are in 2 separate files. So you essentially utilize a class in another class. So what a object contains another, but they can exist separately. So That means that there's two separate classes, and one of those classes contains an object of the other. And then for the inheritance, that was just kind of aggregation. There's a multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and then multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance you can't actually do in Java, so that's when you have more than one parent class. So for that, you're gonna have you're gonna use interfaces in order to be able to actually use multiple inheritance. So it's a little things, and then of course polymorphism, one reference in many forms. So that's where you use override. So if you have like a parent class and then you have the method sound, and you extend that parent class to a subclass, and that subclass has the method sound, then you're gonna have override, which allows the subclass to override info from the parent, which makes it so each different subclass that there is has its own specialized method. So that's polymorphism. And then there was another term, and this all had to relate and go back to what was it? Sorry. Abstract classes. So a class that can be that cannot be instantiated. So abstract classes is like a parent class that you use as a blueprint, but you don't actually use any of the methods from said class, or any of the methods really. It's a blueprint. So the process of creating an object instance from a class is something that you cannot do with an abstract class, because it's a blueprint and something that you use to expand off of, but something that you don't utilize methods from within. So you don't call or create objects from the parent, but you work within the subclasses of the parent. So it's little things like that, like so much information. I'm actually surprised I'm able to convey this information to you guys, because I've been quiet for so long. So yeah, I haven't really talked to a lot of people. So, but that's that. And then obviously I have exception handling, so that just is working with possible errors that could show up within your program. The hardest part I'd say about my second semester is the fact that I have all of these different classes. I'm on campus a lot more, but I'm also processing a lot more internally, and I'm not as aligned as I once was, because I haven't had the space for that, because being on campus, that's kind of what happens. My brain just gets overloaded with social interaction, and it just gets to be way too much for me. But yeah, if anyone is kind of like struggling with this school in general, you just have to get through. You just have to get through. And don't forget about the passion that you have for things, because it exists. I know that with life it's kind of difficult, because you are going through all of these things and then you forget who you are. And that's kind of what has happened with me as of recently, and I've gotten into very negative thinking patterns, and it's just not been great. But yeah, just making sure that you have somewhere to go and communicate things. It's something that really helps. And then I've had discrete math too, and then my business class, and then Unity, and then introduction about like all of these classes. Like, I don't want to take these classes, but they're required. I want to take the programming classes. I want to take the discrete math classes. If I had a choice, I'd only take discrete math and Java. But I'm not. I don't really have that choice, honestly. So, but yeah, just get through, so that your future self can feel the impact that your past self, created. Your past self went through all of that hard work and went through that suffering, so that your future self could succeed. But I just want to say, like, I genuinely appreciate, the subscribers that I've received on my behalf. I'm sharing my experiences, as a college student, as a quiet, introverted college student, has trouble with opening up and, having multiple like friendships and all of these things. So, yeah, I genuinely I appreciate it, and you know I'm gonna work as hard as I possibly can. I'll come back and provide further clarity on my part. As for like things that I've learned, and because that's something that I enjoy, and having the ability to help people, I've always, that's something that I enjoy because um, I've, growing up, I've always had a hard time with learning. Um, Obviously, when you're alone, you can learn a lot better, but when you have so many things going on, you can't really do that. So just me being able to help people learn, yeah, that helps me too as well. So yeah, and I think I'm gonna hop off here in like a second, but oh yeah, also like a quick update. I have my laptop is kind of bad right now, so I'm working to get a new one so that I can start creating more videos on my behalf. But yeah, if you're going through a lot, don't think that everything is over. A lot of times we compare ourselves to people that aren't going through as much, but or they're going through different things that they have the capacity to handle that are still difficult. Sometimes you just have to focus on yourself, so that you're given an opportunity to further develop. You don't want to halt yourself and to be stagnant in one specific spot because your present self was like, I can't do this anymore. You just have to do it. You have to do what you can do to get through. And yeah, and I've changed jobs recently. I've been doing all of these things, but I'm gonna get a new laptop. Hope to make more videos and worry about other things and continue to help you guys. And in another update, I have my Python, Java, and HTML certificate. Something I'm very happy about. Yeah, just make sure you guys are giving yourself enough credit, because that's something I definitely don't do. It's something I need to get better at doing. Because I don't. I always try to push harder when I can't. Yeah, so that's a quick update. I really do appreciate, my like 5 subscribers that you guys subbing to me. It helps me a lot, and something that makes me very happy because I want to build something. I want to build a community where where there are people that ask questions. There are people that are curious, and there are people that I can help and just create an environment, a safe learning environment for everyone. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. But bye, you guys, and thank you so much for listening.